Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool joins us again with, well, it's good news this week, Andrew. Are the good times going to keep going in the wool market?
We'll get the good news out of the way first, mate. It's a sensational week. Indicate EMI hit the 400 mark, up 44 cents, 29 microns. The best nearly for the week. It went up nearly 80 cents, 15.50 for the week. So, yeah, enormous week in the market. Pent up by that demand we were alluding to on the Friday. There was a lot of sales into China on the Thursday, Friday last week. And, yeah, the blood was boiling. So first there, we sold on the first day, had a ripping sale. But unfortunately, as we've sort of alluded to in the past, this market goes up 2 steps, 3 steps quickly in a week, not just the one. It's invariably going to come off next week.
Oh, that's the bad news, is it?
That's the bad news, mate. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, all right. Look, we'll get into the bad news, maybe looking at next week in a moment, but are we still playing catch-up with sort of where we were maybe pre-pandemic, or where are we compared to sort of last year or previous year's trade?
Yeah, you're spot on. So the analysts are looking at this market and looking at the graphs going back. We are only recovering where we've lost. That's exactly right. So the EMI in US terms, we talk about that a lot. If you remember back in the autumn, we were talking at a $10 US EMI, and it was sort of maintaining that right up to sort of June, July, and then, of course, capitulation and EMI went down to sort of below, nearly hit 800. So we've recovered back to 976. The long-term average is $10 US. So the analyst in us, would say, yes, we're only recovering back to where we are. But given it's sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, the market went up too quickly this week and the Chinaman's gone missing the last 48 hours. So no more business has been written since a week ago, basically.
Yeah, which is interesting because we've got a few reports we're running today about how like a first coal shipment has arrived in China for 2 years, and there's some positivity that maybe they're opening up and getting out and about and socialising and dining out again. Is it a little bit of a different picture from what you're hearing from your sources there? It's
a little bit toned down. Yeah, I tend a little bit to wide. Again, it's just commentary, isn't it? You hear around the place and you make your own assumptions. So I'm hearing consumer demand, everyone's been a bit let down. We're expecting a lot more. That's sort of on the wires that I've been reading, Ricky. But, yeah, look, water always finds its natural level, doesn't it? So if we segment the market out, fine wool's certainly been a lot dearer than where they are. You look at the graphs there, they're still not where they were 16, 18 months ago. So there's an upward trend there in the fine wools. Europe's getting back into gear on the really nice fine wools. And those middle microns, 19s and 21s, are trading well up to where they were their last peak. And you look at those last peaks, they're a bit short, a bit sharp. So you'd have to maybe think there's not much more, higher prices could come forward for the middle microns. And, of course, crossbreds are sick. So we want them to improve and need them to improve. So maybe the Chinaman, when he does go overseas and starts touring around, he buys a nice big woolly coat.
Maybe so. Well, I guess those that watch the market, longer than just a year apart, is this kind of what the market does, notwithstanding the amount of shearing that's going on? We sort of peak up and then maybe we sort of taper off around, the next few weeks?
Yeah, spot on. So we've got some big offerings coming up. I think this market going up is going to drive a lot of wool out of store. We're getting a lot of grower inquiry now, people wanting to come forward and sell wool. So we're going to have this, we were talking about this tsunami sort of prior to Christmas, and it might be a bit of a high tide coming in the market, and we'll have a bit more extra wool coming on. But, it won't last that long, that's right. We'll get to May, and then it'll start dissipating.
But you were thinking maybe even next week's trade, there's some storm clouds on the horizon there.
There's a little bit of thunderclap in the background, particularly when you have the Chinaman not booking any business for 2 or 3 weeks out. I'm just talking to a few exporters on the show floors here this morning and looking at doing grow evaluations for next week's auction, and certainly we will have to be under where the market was yesterday if you're going to sell wool next week.
So is there a sense with what people are putting up for sale next week that they're already sort of pulling back?
Yes. Yeah, I think there'll be some sellers if I'd be meeting this market. You're talking 21 microns at 1,500 and something clean. I can't remember too many times back in the last 10 years where I could quote that number. It's a big number. You've got individual sheep now possibly cutting up at $100 a head for one sheep. 21 micron wool cutting 8 kilos. That sheep's cutting $100 per head. Not bad money.
Very healthy stuff indeed. Well, we'll enjoy the good times while they last, and hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully the storm gets blown away and we have another good week next week. We'll see how we go with you next time we chat. Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool.
Thank you. Cheers, Ricky.